Hey everybody, what a show it has been. Mark Davis in for Stacy. Stacy's back tomorrow night here on the show that bears her name, and I know she'll have plenty to say, as I have, as you have in your conversations with friends and colleagues and family. What an amazing ride we have all been on in this election season. And here in the Salem News Channel world, I've had some people who know that I'm in conservative media. I've got that little radio show of mine on 660 AM, The Answer, here in Dallas, Fort Worth. And they've said, hey, Trump won, so what are you going to talk about now? Are you kidding? Trump won. The answer is kind of self-evident. Did I not have stuff to talk about during the first Trump term? Of course I did. He does things. I love most of them. Some of them I wonder about, and we'll talk about all of those things. It's going to be an amazing, amazing adventure. But when I think about this, and I think about the path that we've been on, in this campaign year like no other, Trump won the old-fashioned way. People wanted his policies more than those of his opponent. And Kamala Harris lost by having something that was not going for her. Kamala Harris lost for the reason that a lot of people lose. She was a terrible candidate. She was just a terrible, terrible candidate. So to some of my dispirited Democrat friends, and I do have them, I've said, guys, dust yourselves off, live to fight another day. Midterms are 2 years from now. We'll see how those all go. And in 2028, look what you'll have. You will have, by definition, a better candidate because she's the worst candidate ever. And you know what else you'll have? And this will be refreshing. You'll have a Democrat nominee that you actually voted for, because that didn't happen this time, did it? So that's about all the cheerfulness I could offer my Democrat friends, because they're largely inconsolable. But they are saying some things that I want to dispel as we bring tonight's exercise to a close. In watching across the liberal media landscape, and believe you me, this morning, there was a lot of viewing that I've made sure to do. I kept track, of course I keep track of conservative media. I'm part of conservative media. I keep track of liberal media to see what these folks are saying, because we need to keep track of what people are saying who are on the other side of issues. But on Morning Joe, MOURNING, on MSNBC, I'm sitting there watching Mika Brzezinski like dressed for a wake or a funeral or something like that. And it was kind of a death in the family for them, the death of their hopes for a Harris presidency. Listen, I feel their pain, as Bill Clinton once said. We lost 3 of the last 4. I know, did we? It's for another time, but you know what I mean. We have not prevailed in 3 of the last 4. So I know what it's like to feel that, especially 2012, Mitt Romney, he didn't inspire the heck out of me, but that was the choice we Republicans made. All right. And of course I voted for him, and I really thought that America was going to be done after 1 term of Obama. I was wrong, and that was just a sucker punch, and I was prepared to maybe face that sucker punch again. Didn't have to, so that's awesome. But here's the thing. In looking at some of the media analysis of what this election was about, when Bob Dole lost, when he got steamrolled in 1996 by Bill Clinton, it's like, hey, it wasn't our time. They wanted Clinton, they didn't want our guy. In 2012, 2008, when McCain lost to Obama, hey, they wanted Obama, they didn't want our guy. Wish they did, but they didn't. So did I find a lot of Democrats this morning saying, well, they just didn't want the lady that we put up. Our ideas were just not the flavor of the month. No. Instead, here I've got this list of things that they think the election was about, and they're just wrong times 4. The first 2 are racism and misogyny, hatred of women. The reason she lost was because we just weren't ready for a president of color. We weren't ready for a woman of color. Are you kidding me? Democrats obviously are, and as conservatives, we don't care about the pigment or the plumbing, as we say. We care about what's in your head. We care about what's in your heart. We care about what your spine is made out of. And if that's a woman or even a woman of color, we're totally prepared not to care. None of these things matter. Almost nothing is about race or sex anymore. It's about politics. When Democrats say, well, we need more women, how are they going to feel about Sarah Huckabee Sanders? How are they feeling about Tulsi Gabbard lately? So none of this is about sex or race. And you know what? That's actually good news, because it's about the beliefs in your head. It's about your agenda. It's about the things that you stand for. So the other 2 things that they said it was about was fear and anger. If you voted for Trump, you didn't thoughtfully consider his agenda and want those things, or thoughtfully look at Kamala Harris and actively not want those things. Oh no, it was fear and anger being stoked by a malevolent madman. Stop it, guys. Stop it. You lost the old-fashioned way. They wanted our agenda. They didn't want yours. Future elections may go differently. My dad always told me. He said, son, you're going to have a lot of elections in your life, and sometimes your person's going to win and sometimes not. Thus shall it ever be. But guess what? Last night, our guy won. Couldn't be more thrilled. Couldn't be more thrilled to be here for Stacey, who returns tomorrow. Follow me on Twitter at Mark Davis if you're in the mood to do so, M-A-R-K Davis. And see you next time whenever they ask. This is Stacey Washington Now.